Hello yogis, sadhanas and other friends. Welcome to this video about the extra touch that you can add to your classes to give your students and yourself a richer sensorial experience. I came across an interesting Reddit thread the other day with the title, "What is the best extra touch that you have seen in a class?" I will summarize, categorize and list all the responses that people gave in this thread. I will be grouping the suggestions by the main senses: sight, hearing, smell, taste and touch. We need to be aware that sensory stimuli can either help or hinder the class. So we need to be aware of the context and we need to be aware of the objective of the class so that we can adjust the sensory stimuli according to the type of class and the energy level of the class. So the two senses that we use most in an asana class is the vestibular sense, which is balance, and the proprioceptive sense, the proprioception, which is a kinesthetic sense that allows us to determine where a limb is in relation to the rest of the body. So these are things that someone appreciated and that worked in the context of that class. So it might not be appropriate in all settings. Adjust the brightness of the lights according to the type of class you're doing. If you're doing a yin or a restorative class, it's probably better to keep the lights either completely turned off or really dimmed, because these are all very internal practices. Dimmed lights make it easier to lose yourself in the practice and turn the attention and focus inwards. Shavasana is the moment in any practice to turn down the lights. It's the time for reflection and allowing the practice to sink into the body, and the whole meditative process, I mean, it just screams for, please turn the lights down and let me be on the inside of my own head. You can also consider other types of lighting, like for example using candles to create an atmosphere that is more intimate and more meditative. One main choice in every yoga class is music or no music. And in some classes it's just not, it feels better just doing it in silence. For instance, if we want a more meditative practice in a restorative class, sometimes just doing it in total silence gives the students the only moment or the only hour of silence they have during the whole day, or maybe even during the whole week. So considering doing some classes without music can be perceived as an extra touch by some students. If you do use music for your classes, you can consider theming the music, and the themes can be whatever you decide. It can be based on colors, it can be based on natural phenomena, it can be based on Hindu deities, it can be based on weather themes like rain or snow or thunder. There are so many ways to go in this, but the main thing about that is it creates like a consistent thread throughout the whole class. And that is a nice extra touch. Reading a yoga-related story in the beginning of the class can be a transformative experience for the students, because it gives them something to reflect on during class, and it gives them a hook into a transformative experience during the asana practice. Another nice touch is right before or during Shavasana, maybe reading a poem and giving some input again for reflection, announcing in the beginning of the class what is the overarching theme or the main pose we're aiming for during the class is also a nice touch that students appreciate. Accompanying Shavasana with an instrument or your voice by singing mantras, it can be very easy. Om Mani Padme Hum. It can be simply just chanting maybe Om, Om, maybe even accompanying yourself with a singing bowl. If you know how to play an instrument, or if you know how to use your voice and chant or sing, I have found that students always appreciate a little bit of live music during Shavasana. We frequently use pre-recorded music to accompany the classes, but if we can do something that is more personal to accompany the Shavasana, students appreciate it tremendously. Many students appreciate the smell of incense or an essential oil, so We have, for example, incense sticks that we can burn during class. We have the option of burning some Palo Santo. We have the option of using pre-blended essential oil mixes, or we can blend our own. In the comments in the Reddit thread, lavender was lauded as one of the best smells for a yoga class. Not all students appreciate the intense smell of incense, so I like to use these, for example, the 7 chakras, which has a kind of clean and not too perfumed smell. It leaves like a subtle smell of spirituality in the room. As for the oils, there are different ways of applying the oils. Some teachers I know apply a drop of oil to the hands, and they place it on the student's face or on their shoulders or on their clothes. I personally don't like to apply oil to students' clothes or body, so if you can apply the oil to a tissue or something that you can hand out, so the smell will be there, but you don't have to necessarily apply it to the students. However, if you decide to apply an oil directly to a student's skin or to their clothes, please ask permission first, because this has been a reason for people to quit the yoga studio on several occasions, because teachers are doing stuff without asking permission. Some yoga studios or teachers offer their students something to drink that has a soothing effect after class. It could be a special blend tea or some flavored water or just plain water. One special touch that I feel like it shouldn't really be this special, because we should have the time to do this in most classes, is making adjustments in Shavasana. It could be lifting, stretching the head, lifting, stretching the legs, adjusting the shoulder blades under, applying a slight pressure to the shoulders. Even if it's for just 2 to 3 seconds, it has a huge impact on the feeling that you give to the students while they're in Shavasana. And if you really want to add something special to make sure your students return, you could, after asking, of course, give a scalp massage or a foot massage. And you can use tissues, you can use blankets, you can use, so you don't have to come into contact with the skin if you don't feel like that. But it has a huge impact on the students' relaxation, and it can totally transform the feeling of Shavasana for the students. Also, just giving adjustments and assists during class, making that slight pressure to the hips, making that twist a little bit deeper, making sure the muscles are activated, and helping the students in any way you can, it's highly appreciated by the students, and they don't feel left alone. And this is another thing that is very clear from the feedback. The students come to the class and they want to be seen. Of course, it's a human desire, it's a human need that we have to be seen, and to be seen by the yoga teacher and to be seen by their fellow students is a fundamental need. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have found some tips that can give you inspiration or a motivation to get out of a rut or stagnation, and that will inspire you to give the students a more profound sensorial experience